On the eve of February 9, 1942, a European country was invaded by German troops, killing the economy, destroying the political structure, and reducing the index of human development by 12.3%. 3 years after the war, the country decided not to build its infrastructure first, but rather to invest on its citizens and develop its citizens first. Spended 10% of its GDP on health sector for 3 decades, made elementary education up to the age of 16 free of cost. And what are the results? The country is Norway today, which stands at 2.1% infant mortality rate, lowest in the entire world, 87.3 years of life expectancy, one of the highest in the entire world. And Norway is a standing example that when we invest on fitness of our citizens, it will lead to a prosperous nation, a prosperous democracy. The country ranks number 1 in democracy index today. A prosperous economy, the country ranks number 3 in GDP per capita income today. And a prosperous, inclusive country, the country ranks number 1 in human development index. A very fanatic morning to all of you present here. Today, I stand here, and when I see this topic, I see 3 aspects. What does fit India means for me? What does prosperous India means for me? And how can we connect both of these together? When I see fitness India, fit India, I see 4 aspects. Physically fit, mentally, socially, and educationally. Physically, the data proves it's all. The highest amount of malaria and dengue diseases. 57% of the infant mortality rate alone in 2015. This certainly proves that the health condition of India is not certainly good, ladies and gentlemen, and we have challenges. Challenges like pollution. 2 of the most polluted cities in the world are from India. Problems like population. By 2030, we are going to surpass China's population. Do you think we are economically and resourceful to sustain that population? And problems like environment. When I talk about mental fitness, NCRB data shows that 14.3% of the citizens today suffer from minute or acute anxiety. And who are the most affected by these? Students. In 2015 alone, it led to 8,513 deaths in this nation. Gentlemen, you know what does that mean? 1 death every hour of every year in this nation. Albert Einstein once said that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid, and that's what the education system has done. When we talk about social development, my favorite, social fitness. We live in a nation where homosexuals are known unnatural, but ghosts and witches are called real and natural. We live in a nation where for 20 years we fought for a disputed land, that whether it should be a temple or mosque, and this we did in a nation where the first mosque was not built by a Hindu ruler, but by a Muslim ruler, but by a Hindu in the outskirts of Kerala. Today the social conditions are such that when a Brahman marries a Dalit or vice versa, the honor killings happen as is considered a shame to the society. The honor killings has increased by 2.3% in the last 10 years. And that is why I want to submit to you that for having a prosperous nation, we don't just need a population that's physically fit, mentally fit, but also should have the social compatibility. The society should provide the proper mechanism and environment where they can use their physical and mental fitness for prosperity of the nation. But with that comes the cherry on the cake, education fitness. The president of Zimbabwe gave a wonderful speech one day. He said that today we fight racism in a world where we wear white clothes to marriages and black to funerals, where we use white cars run by black tires, where even in a bank, when you don't pay your loans, you are called blacklisted, but when you pay your loans, then you are whitelisted. Gentlemen, isn't this institutionalized racism and mother of the very education society that we boast about? This is the condition of education in India, sir. Another example, in 2009, the biggest corruption scam in this nation happened, CWG scam. The main accused person, A. Raja, goes to jail, comes back again in 2014, contests elections, ladies and gentlemen, and he gets 40% more votes. This, I want to ask a question. What is the mean of having the biggest democracy in the entire world where we don't even understand how does our vote matter? And that is why, even if the population is physically fit, mentally fit, even have the social compatibility, but does not have the educational wisdom to use all this impetus for positive prosperity of this nation, its fitness is worthless. Now I have provided you with a lot of perspectives, but with that we also need some solutions. Solutions not like ending poverty and ending corruption, but to which all of us can contribute at our own levels. For example, UNDP says that 43% of the food produced in India is actually wasted. How can we solve that? By making more and more cold storage facilities for farmers and Kisan Rail Yojana like in the latest budget. This is what we can do. Do talk about things which we all can do at our own levels. For example, when you go and buy a 25,000 rupees bike, rather buy a 2500cc cycle. It's helping your health, it's protecting the environment, and it's also improving the health of citizens around you. This is what we can do. And when I talk about mental health, it cannot be changed until we change the education system in this nation, gentlemen. Lord Macaulay came and gave us an education system, and we have been following it for the last 200 years. They actually changed the system in England, but we have been following the same system. Today, school teaches us maths, history, physics, but school doesn't teach us how to handle failure, how to handle stress in life. These are very practical problems that everybody faces in their day-to-day lives. And most importantly, government talks about helping, making a Swachh Bharat, clean India. Well, that will not happen if you not provide the infrastructure. In Norway, every 1 kilometer you go, there is a dustbin. Every 5 kilometers you go, there is a public toilet. Is that infrastructure available in India? That is why, if you want to provide a disease-free nation, it's your duty as a government and as citizens to ask the government to provide the infrastructure first. And at the same time, I must project to you that we cannot become a progressive and a prosperous nation if we don't take care about our villages, which is heart of our nation. Before we make smart cities, we need smart villages, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why today I stand here, the prosperous nation. When we use all these policies and take care about all these problems, we'll formulate a nation that becomes a prosperous nation. And a prosperous nation for me is where we are not 102 in global hunger index but first, where we are not 77th in HDI but first, where a girl in Jharkhand does not die with the last word saying bhat, bhat, where a Dalit don't carry human waste on his head in the villages, where when a woman is raped, she is not but judged by the clothes she is wearing, but the character she embraces. Where today as citizens, we don't elect politicians, we start electing leaders, ladies and gentlemen. That is a prosperous India for me. And I must present to you at the end of my speech that the crux of my speech and all of this what I formulated is that a country that have physically fit population, mentally fit population, has a social platform that can provide impact, and with that, they have the educational wisdom to use all of that technique so that they can influence the world and make this nation prosperous, as Dr. Kalam once nicely articulated, that great nations don't become great because of handsome people, but because of those who can give their hands to some who require that. Thank you very much.